request once again to all of you to kindly take your respective seats. We are just starting it in just 2-3 minutes time. Mr. Milind Devara is just, I think, 3 or 4 minutes away from here. So the moment he comes in, we will start this, seminar. So it would be better if all of us are seated so that we can save the time on that. Is there with us? I request our BSE Broker Forum's chairman, Siddharth Bhai Shah, to escort Shri Arvindji on the desk, please, and also occupy his seat. I request our Vice Chairman, Shri Alok Churiwala, to kindly escort Shri Praveen Chakravarti, who is going to be the moderator today for the question answer session of this seminar. On to the desk, please. Siddharth Bhai to take his chair. Friends, we welcome you all on behalf of BSE Brokers Forum at this afternoon and are very thankful to you that you have spared your valuable time with us. We at BSE Brokers Forum basically are the people who are in the financial markets, capital markets, but at the same time, the financial and capital markets and the economy of this country depends on the policies and the programs of the leaders, of the political leaders who occupy the seats at the respective places in the high offices. And we thought that we hear the views of our this political leaders, what is there in the store, what is ahead, and with that intention and idea, this seminar has been organized. All of you know that the code of conduct is in place for the elections, coming general elections, and we have to restrain ourselves and to behave according to the code of conduct. We are not here for any particular political debate or speech. What we are interested is to know the ideas, the programs for the city, for the state, for the country, its economy and financial markets. With this welcome, I request all of you to kindly rise for the national anthem. Can we play the national anthem, please?
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा वृंद हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Sit down, please. Thank you. Friends, we are just, Mr. Milind Devara is here with us. We welcome him. We welcome you, sir, amongst us. may I request our distinguished guests sitting on the desk to kindly come forward for the lighting of the lamp so that we can commence the proceedings of this seminar. Thank you. You know, whenever I look at this lamp lighting ceremony, I am always reminded of the few very famous lines of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, that I don't want to become sun, giving light to the whole world. What I want to become is a small lamp, giving light and warmth to the people around me. And that's what we expect from our leaders here, to kindly give your warmth and love to all who are present here. With this, ladies and gentlemen, we at BSE Brokers Forum are doing a lot of jobs, a lot of good things for the broker community and the investment market on the whole, and for the investors. I would request to run the CD, please, our presentation on BSE Brokers Forum, for all of you to know what are we doing. Thank you.
Bombay Stock Exchange Brokers Forum was incorporated in the year 1993. BSE Brokers Forum is a society under the Societies Act 1860 to support and coordinate on behalf of brokers. It facilitates for the smooth functioning of trade and business. It is the link between the regulators and other government bodies relating to the markets. Brokers Forum has time and again come up and made representation for the larger interest of communities. India is seeing and experiencing an economy so dynamic and ever-changing that Brokers Forum is acting as a facilitator in filling the gaps so that the business may shore up their competitiveness and enhance their global reach.
The working of the forum is based on trust and transparency. The prime mandate of the forum is to initiate various activities for the betterment of member brokers in particular and capital market in general. The advantage that our forum office is located at the BSE building itself, the iconic tower of the Indian capital market, which gives us easy access to meet the members on a regular basis and interact with them on day-to-day.
Our vision to provide a robust platform for all trading members and capital market intermediaries to optimize their resources and ensure smooth transition with external bodies. Our mission to be a premier body representing interests of intermediaries, ensuring that concerns of trading members and capital market intermediaries are highlighted adequately to regulators, stock exchanges and finance ministry. Growing the market in terms of number of listings, market capitalization and liquidity. Educate and empower intermediaries, investors and other stakeholders. Ensuring that the forum reaches national and international levels.
Historically, the membership of this association has been restricted to BSE members. However, as time passes, more and more members are joining the association. Now, because of regulatory reasons, at times members have to create various different organizations. Associate member is a new way of giving services to our members themselves. It may be an NBFC arm or a commodity arm. They can become direct members of the association. The concept of associate member is unique to the forum, with which we can give services to all the arms of our members.
Over the years, the Brokers Forum has been actively involved in the following activities: to communicate and have a dialogue with the government and the regulators on the matters affecting the capital markets, to be a partner in the fostering and development of the exchange and its competitive position in the capital markets, to advise, guide and represent members in all matters relating to the stockbroking and other allied activities.
The Forum Views started off as a humble newsletter. And from a humble newsletter, it has come to be a 360-degree magazine. What you see today is a wealth of information that it provides. And what's more, is this magazine finds its way not only to member brokers, but to educational institutions, the finance ministry, regulators, and all stakeholders of the capital market equally look forward to reading the Forum Views.
Objectives: to foster, encourage and spread the knowledge of trading, dealing and transactions in stock exchanges. To organize, sponsor, promote, establish, conduct or undertake research and spread knowledge regarding various types of transactions, dealings and investments to be made. To impart training that has directly or indirectly been the objective or the effect of spreading knowledge and information regarding the stock exchange transactions.
BSE Brokers Forum has taken membership of various associations with the objective to give more better representations to the regulator and stock exchanges on various platforms other than capital market issues.
Even on the global front, the forum has created a concrete footing by collaborating with leading broking associations and stock exchanges around the globe, with a firm objective to establish a channel for exchange of information on best practices, dissemination of knowledge, co-hosting seminars, training programs, doing research reports and case studies.
One of the biggest strength and the asset of the forum is their members. Collectively, these members represent a pool of vast knowledge and intellectual power. Forum has always tried to exploit this power and knowledge and aspired to provide thought leadership to the society. Going forward, I see Forum as one flagship organization representing not only capital market but entire financial ecosystem.
Thank you, friends, for patiently looking at our work. We would like to welcome our guests here with the flower bouquet. May I request Siddharth Bhai to kindly present a bouquet of flowers to Shri Milind Devra. May I have the bouquets, please? Shri Alok Ji Churiwala to come forward and present a flower bouquet to Shri Arvind Sawan. Shri Ajit Sanghvi to kindly come forward and present a bouquet to Shri Priveen Chakravarti. We are very fortunate to have the CEO and Managing Director of Bombay Stock Exchange, Shri Ashish Bhai, amongst us. We would like to welcome him by presenting a bouquet of flower. May I request Shri Deepen, one of our board member and the screening committee member, to kindly present a bouquet to Shri Ashish Chauhan. We have a couple of, that way all of you are dignitaries for us. It's your forum. But I would just like to recognize the presence of Shri R.K. Mittal, a very veteran chartered accountant and the working president of the International Vash Federation, who is at my request is here today. Shri Amrish Datta, who is the chairman or CEO of the BSc Training Institute. We recognize your presence. Thank you. And now the time is, we have a couple of releases to make, but I think we already spent a little more time in the beginning. So we'll do that, and I'll just straight away go on to the very brief introduction of our speakers. Though I think they are our leaders, everyone's leader, they don't need a very elaborate introduction. As far as, I'll stand for what is right, even if I have to stand alone. Will you join me, my team? Here we have Shri Milind Devra, did schooling from Cathedral School, his graduation from Sydenham, and master's from Boston, and then worked for 2 years in US. And at a very young age, joined politics, and I think probably he was the youngest member of parliament at the age of 27 in 2004. I present before you Shri Milind Devra. I'm sorry, I have worked with Shri Murli Devra for a number of years, so every time the name of Murli Bhai comes to, but very fortunate we have Milind with us, a young leader. Arvindji Sawant is a very famous leading union leader, and the beauty of his leadership is that MTNL, where he leads as a leader for the workers, for the union, has never had a strike in last 25 years. So he is not like any union leader who just want to fight with the management. And the best part of it, Shri Milind Devra is the minister of the same ministry which controls MTNL. So we have the best combination here. He has been a very active MLC for 12 years. He has been a science graduate from Mumbai University, and social service, uplifting of the poor and downtrodden people, the workers, that's been his hobby and passion. With this, I present to you Shri Arvind Bhai. And now, friends, can we request you, Arvindji, to kindly address our audience for 8 to 10 minutes, and then we'll have Shri Milind Devra.
Namaskar. Honorable still Minister, my dear friend Mr. Milind Devra ji, all respected dignitaries on the dais and respected dignitaries sitting in this hall, I sincerely say thanks to Bombay Stock Exchange Brokers Forum, which has given me a great opportunity to come and present myself in front of you. It's really, I'm honored to be here today. I am not an economist. I am not a financial man. I have never done investment in stocks. But still, you are asked to speak on economy. This is the real fun of the political system. People who do not, sometimes, we have knowledgeable people at the top, but still they are not able to deliver goods. As at present, we have an economist as the Prime Minister, but still our country is in dogs as far as the financial condition is concerned. This is what is happening. This is what is happening. The UPA government, which followed the basic principles or economic policies of the NDA government. During NDA government, market was booming. The stock market was booming. We could just read some news, In Marathi they say, stock market's bhav vadarla. It has the stock market rates have gone up, it risen up. But all those policies, maybe RTI, maybe Manrega, maybe right to education, food, equity bill, security bill, all those things were there in the NDA, but sincerely were followed by the UPA later on. But as a UPA first government, UPA 2 miserably failed. They landed in so many scams, so many different allegations were put on them, and could not come out of it. The fiscal deficit, the GDP, everything has fell down. The worst part of it is that International Monetary Fund, in its annual year report on 20th of February, this 20th of February 2014, said that the government's move to shift spending to next year is not ideal. It's a very serious one. Spending money, but they don't want to show it in this current financial year. They are moving it, shifting it to the next year. Let the new government come and bear the responsibility, whatever we have done it. And that is what is my concern. As far as the constituency is concerned, and you know, Balasaheb Thackeray used to always say, what is your economy policy? He used to say what people need. People need roti, kapda, makan. Now to give roti, to give kapda, this government has snatched everything. रोटी भी छीन ली, कपड़ा भी छीन लिया, मकान भी छीन लिया, कुछ रखा नहीं हमारे लिए. लेकिन एक बात इसमें भी है कि ये सब करते समय रोटी, कपड़ा, मकान देना है, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि हमारी इंडस्ट्री डेवलप न हो. आपने अच्छा बताया कि मैं यूनियन लीडर होने के बावजूद 25 बरस में, पहले तो अभी बिकॉज द प्राइवेटाइजेशन, लिबरलाइजेशन वाज नॉट देयर, वी वर मोनोपोलाइज्ड, सो वी यूज्ड टू गिव दिस सर्विस. And you must have experienced during this my 25 years of career, I have never resorted to such a trade union action which will create a problem to my own industry first, which will create losses to my industry first, and then will not be able to deliver results to the employees also and to the company also. Because the Honorable Shiv Sena Chief has inculcated a thought, if the industry survives, grows, the employees will survive and prosper. With that principle, I ran my union, and therefore I could deliver goods to the people, because with that principle, somehow some issues were delayed a lot, but ultimately we got result out of it. Today I am here to say few things about my constituency. My constituency consists of 6 assembly constituencies: Shivdi, Varli, Baikala, Kulaba, Malbaril, Mumbadevi. Now, thousands of people are staying in Charles. Thousands of people are staying in hutments, and few are staying in high-rise buildings. Everyone has a different problem, but I will not discriminate them. As far as business is concerned, this government brought LBT. I assure you, we will not allow to implement LBT anywhere in this country. No, not at all. The LBT is there, FDI was brought. Again, that was created a problem. What do you mean by the country? We say this country, in a democratic definition is what? For the people, by the people, of the people, and we forget people only. Whichever decision we take, do we take it to deliver goods to the people? May he belong to industry, may he belong to business community, may he belong to employee as a worker. Everyone has come here to live peacefully. What market needs? You people need peace, harmony. You people need that. And you people need fair tax laws, reasonable tax laws, reasonable licensing authorities. We feel that for every small business, you have to go for 39, 40 licenses. All license राज ही चल रहा है. आज सोने के बारे में, गोल्ड के बारे में क्या हो रहा है? It is hidden agenda, like a Gold Control Act against smuggling has started. Gold smuggling has started because of that only. The more you control, on one side we say we accepted the policy of LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization. But while doing so, do we give a level playing ground to both of us? Public sectors are dying. They are here they were created for the welfare of the society. Why they are dying? Look at, I'll give one example and finish my talk. Look at this policy. A Kingfisher was granted a 15,000 crores rupees loan. Kingfisher was given a special treatment at the Mumbai airport. And government's public sector, Air India, was given a step-motherly treatment at the Mumbai airport. I have observed it, you must have experienced it. Air India's plane, when it lands, it's all somewhere in the middle of the airport. A bus comes and then takes the passengers away. Kingfisher is to come directly on the bay. Is it a level playing ground? Today Kingfisher, where is it? Neither flying nor Air India is also flying properly. Is it this policy of LPG, is it delivering goods ultimately for the people? Who lost the job? Forget what company, what Malle has done. He has got money to buy IPL players, but not the money to repay the loan. The NPA of the bank, when this government came in power, 2004, was 0.5%. Today it has gone beyond 6%. More than a restructured account, if you take into consideration, it has gone to 10%. All those public sectors banks are going, who is granting loan them? Private banks are not granting loan to them. Ultimately, you are strangulating your own public sectors, drowning them forcefully. And other side, even the market and the private companies are also not growing. Both should grow. Then only it will be beneficial for the country. Are they growing? And therefore, the country wants a change. Look at the defense policies. Pakistan stares eyes on us. Our Prime Minister's lips are tight. We want a Prime Minister who will stare eyes to Pakistan and say, don't touch. If you touch our soldiers, take it from us. We will reciprocate and retaliate the same way. Do we have a Prime Minister to say like this? Why we should have fear about that? So the country needs a strong Prime Minister, a bold Prime Minister, who has got a vision of a development and at the same time a strong man to protect the interests of our Indian people. Kashmir issues and other issues are there. But then how to deal with it? By having a fear in mind, we will not be able to deal with any other country. Look at US. The same US was not allowing or not granting a visa to our own Narendra Modi. Today their top officers and emissaries are going and meeting the Narendra Modi and smelling that there is going to be change in the government and Narendra Modi is going to be the Prime Minister of this country. This is what is happening. And therefore, my constituency requires the cluster development. My constituency requires dredging of Mumbai port. It was a vibrant city of textile mills and Bombay Port Trust. Both are drowning. The textile mills have gone. It's almost perished. What about Mumbai Port Trust? What about JNPT? So, inherent in that is that it gives a chance for the employment growth also. This is what is required. The cluster development for Charles and others, the Mumbai port development, and the vocational training for the youth. Today, highest youth are there. If you consider the entire world, the maximum number of youths are there in Hindustan. And what we are giving them? Nothing. Their aspirations are being murdered, in fact. We cannot do anything good for them. And therefore, I take this opportunity to request you that the ensuing election, which is going to be conducted on 24th April in Mumbai, I request you all the people to vote for Mahayuti, which consists of Shiv Sena, BJP, everybody. And we have to see to it that the government which doesn't work should be thrown out, and the government which will work and deliver goods to the people should come on the power. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra.
Thank you, Shri Arvind Sawant. We will have more chance to interact with him in the question answer session, but before that, I invite the young leader, Shri Milind Devra, to kindly come forward and say a few words about his targets, plans, and missions. Thank you.
हमारे opponent Arvind Sawant ji, firstly I apologize Sawant ji to you for coming late, because election time is, every vote and every minute is very precious for both of us, and I sincerely apologize to you. Sawant ji, Siddharth bhai, Ashok Ajmera ji, Praveen Chakravarti ji, Ashish Chauhan, Alok, other brokers, members. Let me just begin by saying a few points, some of which I wanted to say in any case, and some now which I have to say, since someone has spoken before me. Sawant ji said we continued NDA's policies in 2004 when we came to power. It's partly true. We did continue a lot of policies. We did continue their 2G policy. We did continue their coal allocation policy. But we also embarked on a very different set of policies. And we tried to make India much more inclusive, more equitable, both economically and socially. And what did we achieve in the last 10 years of our government? When we inherited the government from the NDA government in 2004, the average growth rate in the country was 5.5%. Under our government, the average growth rate was 7.7%. When we inherited the government from the NDA in 2004, the per capita income in India was 24,000 rupees. Today it's 71,000 rupees. When we inherited the government from NDA in 2004, our foreign policy was going through a very difficult time. Internal security was a very, very big issue in our country. Terrorism was a big issue in our country. Today I don't see anyone talking about terrorism as an issue in the elections. Every year for the last few years, we are taking 20 million Indians out of the poverty line. That's not only good for the poor, that's even good for the markets, because that's adding more consumers, more people who can purchase products, more people who can purchase goods and services, who will grow the economy, who will allow companies to grow, who will allow their stocks to do well. The fiscal deficit when we inherited the government was 5.5%. Today, as the government has come to an end, fiscal deficit is brought down to 3.9%. In my own Ministry of Telecommunications and IT, when we inherited the government, there were 7 crore Indians who had access to telephone connections, mobile phones and landline, as Sawant ji knows from MTNL. Today there are 90 crore people who have telephone connections in our country, an increase of over 10x. I remember when I came back to India in 2000, after completing my studies, and I wanted to start an internet company, That time there were only 10 lakh Indians who had access to the internet. And that too on a desktop, on a laptop, with a dial-up modem. Today, 24 crore Indians are accessing the internet regularly on their mobile phones. Now, are these not achievements? Have these not fundamentally changed the landscape in our country in the last decade? So the question is, what really went wrong? And I think it's fair to say and it's fair to admit that in our 10-year period of governing in India, the first 3 quarters were very good. The same people who the opposition will criticize today were lauded by the country as being economists, a dream team who can steer India out of a financial crisis. They're the same people who prevented India from being affected by a global financial crisis caused by reckless lending, caused by bankers. That same team provided stability to India. And the last 2.5 years, I do admit, have been bumpy, have been turbulent, both economically and politically. So the question is, what really went wrong? And I think there are a few things that did happen in this country. One, we cannot ignore the fact that India is no longer an isolated country. There's a big difference between India and a country like Cuba. India is integrated with the world. If the world was suffering from the worst ever financial crisis since 1929, the worst financial crisis, where Western economies almost came close to collapsing. In fact, some did collapse. What happened to India? Our growth rate from almost 10% came down to a little over, to around 5%. I'm not saying we couldn't have done better, but we still managed to keep India strong, to keep India resilient, and to keep India moving forward. Look at what happened to the IT sector. It's so dependent on exports. So dependent on exports to Europe, so dependent on exports to the United States. If these countries and their economies are shrinking, forget about growing, of course there's going to be an impact in India. So one is, we can't ignore global factors in what happened with regards to our economic story. Secondly, there was a completely uncharted territory that we as a government were getting into. Now, what is that uncharted territory? I remember in 2005 when I initiated the debate in Parliament on the Right to Information Bill, and I spoke about that bill in Parliament in 2005, and I spoke about how right to information will fundamentally change the way India works, lives, for the common person, for government, for industry, for media. Today, almost a decade later, things have fundamentally changed. There is a new paradigm of governance in our country. In 2004, when we inherited the government, there were not 24/7 news channels who were competing for space, for TRPs, for revenue, some of whom were showing news very objectively, others who were showing it sensationally. There weren't that many people on the net who were using social media. And opinion cycles in our country, where earlier a person used to read a newspaper and take 24 hours to digest that news and then read the following day's news, opinion cycles had shrunk from 24 hours into maybe 5 minutes with social media. Now that was a completely new paradigm in governance in our country. We happened to be the government of the day who was working under that new paradigm shift as it evolved. We could have done better. We could have communicated better. We could have planned ahead for that. We could have planned ahead to counter a lot of allegations, criticism, a lot of scandals which may have been frivolous. I don't deny that. We could have done much, much better. But we have to understand there were external factors at play. And what I want to tell you is that as the broker community, as the investor community, whether you're someone who's investing in the secondary markets, you're someone investing in private equity, you're investing in real estate, you're investing in sovereign debt, a safest instrument to invest in. Ultimately, what drives economic growth in any country and in any region is political stability. Ultimately, you need political stability for economic growth. And what do you require for political stability in any country, especially in a diverse, heterogeneous country like India? You need social acceptability. And I think that is a fundamental difference between what my party and my government have to offer, and what previous parties and previous governments have offered and have to offer. Today in Mumbai, for example, what drives Mumbai city? It's economics, it's enterprise. Whether you're a broker, whether you're someone who's selling sandwiches outside the BSc building, it's enterprise, and it's an environment and a socially conducive environment for enterprise. Unfortunately, Mr. Sawant may be a good man, but his party has never offered that conducive environment. Parties like Shiv Sena and MNS have only destroyed that environment. They've hurt traders. They've created a community of fear. They've created a community of divisiveness. Devising on a language, devising on region. This is not what a city like Mumbai needs. And I believe, or fundamentally think, politics aside, purely as an investor, as someone who, like anybody else, looks at markets, looks at stability, I think to provide political stability which precedes economic growth and economic sustainability, as I said, you need social acceptability. And I think the gamble that NDA has taken is a fundamental gamble. Because there's a fundamental difference between a Narendra Modi-led BJP and NDA and between a Vajpayee-led BJP and NDA. A BJP and NDA is considered to be a right of center party. A Vajpayee ji allowed that party to move closer to the center. Mr. Modi has pushed it further to the right and further to the extreme. And this is not Milind Deora saying this. This is the Shiv Sena saying this. As an ally of theirs, this is BJP's top leadership saying this. This is many other allies who walked out. And I think that is a fundamental difference. And I think ultimately what drives markets, what drives economic growth, if you want social acceptability, today you can criticize the government, UPA, on many accounts. I'm willing to take questions and accept we could have done better in many areas. But nobody can question the government or the leadership's social acceptability. And that's why we've been able to hold a government together for the last 10 years and for 2 consecutive terms. And I think that is a fundamental difference between us and any other party or any other coalition out there. They can't offer you that broad social acceptability. Things are already falling apart in the alliance. And if, God forbid, they come to power, I'm convinced that the markets will be in for a serious shock, because the social acceptability factor is very low, and that will affect political stability, which is what markets, investors, both foreign and domestic, require in India. Thank you.
Thank you, Shri Milind Deora ji. The atmosphere is heated. I'll make it a little lighter. I'll steal a few minutes from you, and then we'll have the debate. We have a very happy occasion for BSE Brokers Forum. That is the release of the operation manual for the trading members, first of its kind, ever issued, prepared, drafted, and released by any institution, the stock exchanges, or our own associations. This is the tremendous efforts of some of our members and the office bearers which have gone into it. This will ensure very standardized, smooth, flawless operations in the broking offices. May I request all those behind this Herculean task to come forward. Vispi Bathena, our CEO, Dr. Aditya Srinivas, our COO, our Chairman Siddharth Bhai, Vice Chairman Alok Bhai, and all my forum committee member, board members, please come forward and get this once in a lifetime opportunity. You know, this kind of manual do not get released very often. Please do come forward and join us. Ajit Bhai. And may I request Ashish Bhai also. Please. Mr. Ashish Chauhan.